Hey guys! So we got little Waylon down here. I probably look a little crazy, but if you hear my children in the background, it's because I can't do anything for 5 minutes without having them sabotage things. But I really wanted to get this video up as soon as I could because I really want to tell you guys his birth story and show you some of the footage. Show you some of the footage that we got from the birth. Waylon Sawyer, he was born on July 13th, 2021 at 3:30 a.m. He was 7 pounds, 4 ounces, and he was 20 inches long. And we were able to have him at home, which was great. I feel like I almost don't even remember what happened with this birth because it was so quick, and it was also just like we weren't sure if we were even in labor. What I think I was kind of laboring for about like 1 to 2 days before the 13th, because on the 12th I think I was supposed to work but had called out and was like, I can't work, I'm having contractions, my body's doing something, like I couldn't focus on work, which was probably good because I delivered that evening, or morning I should say. So I started just feeling like a lot of contractions, but they weren't very consistent, but they were strong. And it was that evening at like probably like 9:30 on the 12th that I started feeling just like something wasn't quite right. And the kids had already gone to bed, and Jeremy was like, I think we should call my mom and have her come over and pick up the boys so that they can go to her house and sleep there. And I kind of couldn't make any decisions, which to me said that I was gonna start labor. So I was like, let's just do that, you know, like, or I sort of made my husband make those decisions. The kids get picked up by my mother-in-law, and then I called my mom and I was like, I think you need to come over. Like, I think I'm having, you know, I think something's gonna happen. But I was in this weird position where I was like, maybe nothing's happening, you know, like maybe I'm not in labor, like what is going on? I didn't want to like let people know and then have everybody be waiting. So I was kind of like, I don't know. And she was like, no, I'm gonna come over. She came over. My stomach wasn't feeling right. I was having a little bit of diarrhea, which is also a sign that labor is gonna start soon. Your body just expels everything to make room for this massive head, essentially. So she came over and I texted my midwife, and I was like, that by that point it was probably like 10:30, and I was like, you know, I feel like I'm having some labor pains, but I also had diarrhea, so it could be a GI thing. And she was like, I'm an hour from you. And this was kind of like our worst fear. Like, we were like, oh my God, we really want our midwife to be at this birth. We could have had like another on-call midwife, but I really wanted my midwife to be there because she had delivered our other 2 boys. So, you know, we really wanted her there. And she was kind of like, do you feel like I need to be there? And we were doing this like weird flipping floppity thing in between contractions. She's like, can you talk through them? Like, how are they going? And I could talk through them, but they were starting to get more regular. Like, I was starting to just kind of get really nervous, and I was like, oh, you know, I think things are happening. I had my birthing ball that I was using, you know, I was kind of like getting on all fours, like things were happening. And then I had one contraction where it felt like kind of pushy. Like, I was like, oh, I'm definitely pushing right now. And I texted her that, and she was like, okay, I'm headed there now. I'll be there in like 40 minutes. So she wanted me to kind of get labor to, you know, keep going more. I think at that point I was laying in my bed, and she was like, get up, you know, walk around, you know, I want you to get labor going. Everybody was kind of too nervous to do that since she wasn't there yet. So I stayed in bed for another 30 minutes. And then when she said she was about 30 minutes away, that's when I started standing up. Side note, one reason why I was kind of like flip-flopping on if this was real labor or false labor was because my back was on fire and my hips really hurt. Like, just was having a lot of pain in that area, and I have never experienced that. I've never had back labor, any of that. So I really was kind of like, what is going on? So then I came out into our living room. I was laboring out there, you know, walking around, and I just like kept kind of feeling that things just weren't going as much as, like, they just weren't progressing like I had thought that they would, but they were going a lot faster than I had expected, if that makes any sense. So my midwife finally arrived, and I was having definitely contractions were about like 5 minutes apart, and they were about a minute long. And they were starting to get more intense. It was starting to get to the point where I had to sort of like be hanging on somebody or holding somebody's hand because they were just like getting strong. But I wasn't feeling like he was moving down, which was kind of weird. And my back was just getting worse and worse and worse. Like, it just kept hurting, and I couldn't seem to like figure out, you know, what was going on with that. So then my midwife was like, you know, let's go into your bedroom and we'll try side laying. You know, maybe he's not in a really good position right now. Because she was like, you're having a lot of back labor. So I'm laying on my bed sideways, and she's like, okay, so the first like 2 or 3 contractions laying on your side are gonna hurt. I was like, what? And then a big contraction happened, and it hurt. Like, I was like, oh my God. And she was like pushing on my hip, which felt a lot better. And my husband was there, and I pretty much had to like grip onto his hand with all of my might, like during these contractions, because they did really hurt. But I will say they were definitely not as intense as Pitocin contractions. Nowhere near that intense. So, you know, we labored like that for a little while. Like, I turned on the other side. My back was still hurting. It was just, I just like couldn't figure out what was going on with my back. I kept kind of obsessing over that. I was like, what's going on with my back? Like, I was kind of convinced that I still wasn't in labor because I was having this back pain. And then my midwife was kind of like, it's been like a little while for you. Like, probably at this point it had been like 4, maybe 4.5, 5 hours. And for me, my last birth, not counting the surrogacy, my last home birth was 4 hours long. So she was kind of like, you're not really doing anything. Let's check you. Because my water still was intact, and we were kind of like waiting for my water to break, because that's usually what happens first for me, is that my water breaks and then I start getting the intense contractions. Where with this birth, I was getting the intense contractions, but my water was still intact. So she checks me, and she's like, oh my God, you're 10 centimeters dilated. I was like, what? Like, literally everybody was just so confused. She's like, I'm gonna break your water. You're like ready to have this baby. And I was like, why? You know, why is my water not breaking? So she goes up in there, breaks my water. Literally this huge gush of water gushes up her arm and like shoots her into the shoulder. Like, and she was like, whoa, like everybody was like, wow. And she's like, wow, you have a ton of amniotic fluid. That must be why he didn't come down, because he was floating too much, because he had way too much amniotic fluid. It wasn't like way too much, but it was a lot. It was more than she had seen in a while, and it was more than I had had in my previous pregnancies. So right after that, it got really intense. So the contractions were probably 3 minutes apart, and they were lasting like a minute, and they were super strong. They were strong, and my back labor got worse. So she was like, he's definitely not in the best position, and if we can get him to turn, you'll probably have him in the next like 20 minutes. So I was in all these weird positions, and you know, I was protesting. I didn't want to be in these positions because they hurt. And she was like, just do 2 pushes in these positions so we can get his head to turn. So, you know, I was like moving all around my bed and trying to get him to get in the best position. And then finally my midwife was like, okay, he's good. You can push now. Like, let's get him out. And that's when I was kind of like, no, like, I don't want to push. Like, that hurts. Like, I don't want the ring of fire. Like, I don't want to push. Nope, I don't want to do that. And everybody, like my midwife, my mom, my husband, and my midwife's assistant were all like, you can do this, you've pushed before, like just do it, like he'll be here any second. And I was like, I don't know if I want this to happen. Which I feel like a lot of parents experience that. You're just like, okay, I don't really want to do this right now. So literally, I think I pushed like 5, 6 times. It seemed like a century, but he finally came out. His head came out first, and then my midwife helped his shoulders come out, and it just seemed like a century of just like pain, and then he was out, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And like they put him right on my chest, and I couldn't believe it. Like I still couldn't believe it. I feel like during every birth, I'm just never convinced that I'm actually gonna have a baby, and then I'm finally convinced when they're on my chest. And he barely even cried. Like he was just so sweet, and we snuggled him, and you know, we did skin to skin. We waited to cut his cord till it stopped pulsing. I don't even know, like it was the best like last home birth that I've ever had. And I'm so thankful that we were able to do the home birth. But I don't know, just all the feelings and all the like adrenaline and the oxytocin, like it was just much more like real, and he was just so sweet. And we were just instantly in love. And I do have some footage that I will run for you guys of the birth. Let's show the little dude. He definitely spits up a lot because he eats all the time, but here he is. This is my little one. Say hi. He's a little... Okay. No. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Shh. There, can we show the people your sweet face? There we are. Here, well now we're all better. There. Oh, look at how sweet I am. Oh, yes. Mama love you. We think that he's gonna have kind of a different look than his brothers, but it's hard to tell. He's so little. So he is 3 weeks right now, and he's doing really well. He's already gained 2 pounds, so he's up to 9 pounds right now. His birth weight was 7 pounds 4 ounces, so he is eating a ton. He literally nurses constantly, spits up constantly because he's eating constantly. He's a pretty good sleeper. He sleeps with mama. We do co-sleep with him. Pretty much because I feel like that's the only way that they actually go to sleep at night. And sleep is important for everybody, huh? He is just our little angel. Oh, what? He gets a little mad sometimes, huh? But we are just in love. I mean, there's not too much more to update you guys on. Like, he is just doing really well, and we are so happy that he's here with us. So yeah, he's doing really well. I'm doing well. I'm a little bit under the weather, actually. I've kind of been feeling sick, thought I had strep. I don't know really what's going on, but mentally, you know, I feel like I'm doing fine. I definitely do have some moments of like just emotion or just feeling a little overwhelmed, and I feel like all of that is normal postpartum kind of just stuff. So, you know, I'm just trying to rest. I'm just trying not to like do too much, but it's also hard because we have 2 older boys and they have stuff that they have to do. You know, my husband went back to work this week, so it's just me and the 3 kids, you know, during the day, and that's an adjustment. And so I still feel like we're all adjusting. My milk has been coming in really great. It's definitely in, and I am constantly pretty much engorged, which is pretty normal for me. So I try to like pump at least once a day, sometimes twice. It's good to have like a little freezer stash going. As for if I'm planning to exclusively pump, no, I don't think so. I am planning to actually pump, but just not exclusively. I'm gonna nurse more. And the milk bank actually did reach out to me and ask if I wanted to donate again. So I'm not really sure if I will. I want to, but you know, I also don't want to do too much for myself. So I may, you know, just wait until like I feel just like I'm not putting too much on my plate. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, and I hope that you liked meeting Waylon, and I just want to say thank you to all of you who reached out and said congratulations or well wishes. It means so much, and I hope you enjoy the footage that we got from our home birth. But yeah,
I can touch you.
yeah. Oh.